I have the time to make them. It's just forcing myself to stop what I'm doing, stop the email, and just focus on that task for an hour and getting them done.
Every minute in this market right now counts. And so like that's been great. I just wish we'd done it sooner. I don't know why we didn't do it 2 years ago or started 2 years earlier.
And if we would just stop and not get in our way and just go down the path, we would have already been down the path.
Hi, guys, and welcome to our Ridiculously Amazing Insurance podcast, where we have our agency of the quarter, Callis Insurance, in beautiful Washington State, up there on the peninsula. Want to give them all just a moment to introduce themselves. We'll start with the one whose name is on the sign, Mr. Andy.
Yeah, I'm Andy Callis, president of Callis Insurance. Thanks for having me, Steven.
Yes. Melissa, who is the sphere of all things, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Melissa Briggs, and I'm the operations manager.
Thank you. And then we also have one of our leads, Julie, with us. Julie, you want to introduce yourself?
Julie Hall, and I'm personal lines director.
Y'all are acting like this is so formal. We can shake it off a little and have some fun. It'll be okay. I used to be very serious when we first started these podcasts too, but it just kind of goes along with it. So I have been actually working with the Callis team for about 1.5 years now. It seems like just a couple of months, but time goes by when you're learning new things. So what our listeners normally like to know is, what were your thoughts going into the program? What were some of the things you worried about, or what were some of the things you were trying to address when you started working with us?
Sure. So, I was familiar with APP from attending conferences and Kelly's very unique marketing appeal, which is great. So I was aware of APP beforehand, but I had tasked Melissa with looking and researching opportunities for leadership growth specifically. And she went out and did her own research without any necessary guidance other than, hey, let's go find out ways to do stuff and get help. And she came across APP and said, this is our answer. We need to call them. I said, okay, I'm familiar with them. I agree. And they've got great feedback. And how we got down this road was just knowing that we couldn't necessarily do everything ourselves in a timely manner that was relevant. We found ourselves working in the business rather than on it too much. And so we knew we needed someone else to help out. And when Stephen, you presented with Kelly outlining, here's a great program I think you should look at, there were segments that we didn't even know existed that we needed. And at that time, we're like, yeah, let's do the full program. Let's do all of this. This is all stuff we want to do. If we get this done in 2 years, it'd probably take us 5 and would be as good and maybe as relevant by the time we got it done. So that's kind of how we started the process and where we became and how we decided to do the full program with you and 1.5 years in, and it's been fantastic. So Melissa, anything else to chime in on that?
No, I think you recapped well how we stumbled upon APP.
Yeah. Melissa, I know that you are one of the main people that was instrumental in onboarding with APP and getting some of the stuff over. And I know it's not always easy to digest all of the things that are needed, but you pushed through and made it happen. And some of our team was like, shut up, we love them, they get everything turned in. But what was the feeling, or what was your thought process as you were starting and we were requesting lots of random information and it was all unfamiliar to you?
Well, I think for us, because we were so eager to be on a path and have some guidance, that we just dove in and tackled it. So we were already on our own trying to deep dive and clean up data. So when you guys presented, we need all this data, I was like, okay, we're already working on this. So this is fantastic. There was a lot and there was cleanup, and your team is just amazing at holding hands and making it seem like it's every day for you guys. Whereas for us, it was a little struggled and pain pointish, but you're always there to walk us through it. And actually, at the end of the day, you make it really streamlined and easy.
One of the things I think was helpful as well is a lot of your visions aligned with ours as well. You were already starting to do some of these things, but I think Andy said a few minutes ago, like, it would have taken you longer to get there had you just kept pushing forward. So it was kind of refreshing that you were like, well, we're already working on this, but what do we need to do next?
Yep.
And kind of get through there. Then through the assessment process, we interviewed the team, talked with everybody, and Magical Julie got a promotion in the office, which during her first interview, I didn't ever think she would say yes to, but I was hopeful that she would try it. So,
Yeah.
Julie, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie. When Andy first told the staff about this, we were pretty scared. We thought, what is gonna happen? They're gonna change the way we do things, which we thought were working okay at the time. But as we started doing things in our zero inboxes, things like that, we realized this is a really good thing, and it does make the job a whole lot easier.
Yes. But we
So,
needed some people to help lead the team to
yes,
get there.
exactly. Yeah.
So, for those of you that don't know, I think Julie's been with the agency
39.
I'm saying 37,
Mhm.
so I'm still thinking back.
That's what a sign says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where her designated parking space. So she's seen lots of things, lots of change at the agency, and she was
I've
a
seen
great-
Andy grow up.
right.
He was 4 when I started. So.
I don't think he was just a little,
Right.
but I think Julie was a great fit for the agency because she understood the culture and what we were trying to make happen
Yeah.
to then be one of the leaders that kind of got the rest of the team to also see the vision and what was
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So it wasn't like we came in and said, Julie, you get to hold everybody accountable and fire everybody. And she was like, yes. It was, well, we just need to fix some things and push forward.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone already looks up to Julie anyway, so it was a natural progression for her.
Yeah.
And just adding responsibilities and taking those things off. But also from the standpoint as she views it now from a leadership perspective and realize what we were dealing with in the past, why we question things, they want to make changes. She understands a lot more. And I like to say she works in the trenches because she's doing the day to day versus us not. But now she understands more of the why.
Exactly. Yeah, it all makes sense now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot more. Yeah.
Not scary anymore.
Right. Well, I think that's another good point, right? Sometimes the team sees one thing, we see another, and it's hard to bridge that communication of, yes, we really want to do this for you, but there's 17 other fires that have to be put out first. So kind of having somebody that's been on the other side and can help bridge and relay that also can go a long way.
Exactly.
So, Melissa, I know that you were kind of excited for the time management or efficiency program. You kind of ate that up from the start and was like, let's do this. Come on, guys, we can do it. And started spearheading the leadership team to get ahead with getting on track before we started talking to it about the team and rolled it out to the team. What was your experience with the efficiency program?
Well, my unique perspective is because I'm not in the trenches as much, I don't have to wallow in the muck. So I get to walk along the path and be like, up here, it's great. Come on, guys, up here, it's great. And so honestly, the directors in both departments fit right in and, got their team involved. That's the one thing about the directors that we did pick to make it implemented for everyone. They just really embraced it and uplifted their team to make it happen. So really, I got the easy job of being the cheerleader because I was excited about it and I thought it was really fundamentally important. And then they implemented it and uplifted their teams.
And one of the things I saw from the outside was, as we were doing the training, the team would be like, we're never going to get there. It's never going to happen. Melissa's like, I did it. Like, we could do this, guys. Let's do this. And she was trying to get the
And then
leaders
someone else
on the
did
same
it.
page.
Exactly.
Then didn't
I think it's-
And that was
snowball effect.
Yep. I think
It
as
was
soon as
a lot.
leadership could prove that we could do it, and especially, like I said, the leaders like Andy and Julie and Kayla, because they had the multitude of emails. If they can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah, I wasn't sure in the beginning that it would ever work. I really wasn't sure. So, but it does.
It does and it can. But I think it's a great message is leadership has to believe it can, and leadership needs to be kind of the poster child for the change to happen. And really understanding what the culture is and building on that and then pushing the team forward in a positive way can go a long way.
The positive reinforcement was great as well along the way.
Yeah.
Kind of setting up the goals, the rewards. It was just an additional aspect of the process of the time management that was great. I think this was well received by the staff.
One of the areas that we tended to stumble was time blocking. So time blocking is everybody got a dedicated amount of time every day or a couple times a week to do specific tasks to try to stay up and current. but it was a reoccurring theme of it would work for a week or two, then it would go away, then everybody would get verklempt, then it would come back, then we'd fight, then it was crying and it would come back. How do we think the time blocking could be more efficient?
What I'm able to do, and another Kayla, the other team lead, does, is we wear our headphones during the hour of our time block. That way, there's a visual that we don't want to be interrupted and can focus on our work. Otherwise, it is kind of hard to keep that hour solid and just focus on the tasks at hand. That's what
Our office space is unique because it's an open floor plan. There's not cubicles, there's half cubicles, there's equivalent built in. So every person is very accessible very easily by just leaning, turning your head, ask a question. And so we struggle because of that. If we had separate offices, I think it'd be respected more. So it is constantly an ongoing challenge because it's one thing comes up, we need to go talk to that person about it, but respecting that they are on a time block. That the headphone thing has been helping quite a bit, but it's still an ongoing challenge. We've adjusted our hours. We had time blocking kind of built in to some degree, but it just never was consistent. And I think that we're getting there because we understand the importance of it and everyone believes that. And I think that there's more respect as we keep doing it and keep trying that at some point it's going to be just embedded in our brains that, hey, everyone has time blocking. No one talks Wednesday afternoon or at some point right. We do. We just stick down, get our stuff going and don't talk to each other basically. It sounds very impersonal, but it's nice to focus.
Mm-hmm. We weekly report to everybody on the team, like, what is our struggle going to be the next week? Like, do we have any challenges the next week? Because we're always looking at our calendar ahead. And I was like, if I honor my time blocks this week, there will be no struggle. But I had to put it in writing so that when those little time blocks came up, I wouldn't be like, but I have this fire, this emergency, and this person needs a call, and I need to do this. I'm like, no, I have to do X, Y, and Z during this time, or it's not going to happen, right?
Right. We actually have to close our email down during our time block it's very distracting if we don't. Yeah.
So again, I think it's one of those things that even if it doesn't work, we can still try to find ways to make it work or keep working on it till we get to the point it does work.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's what I love about your team and you guys is we try to find ways through, even if what's happening immediately isn't the perfect solution. So Melissa, was there any takeaways from the time management or efficiency course that you still love to this day? Like, do you have one or two that are like, every day, here's what I work on?
I love cleaning up the inbox at the end of the day, moving over to the folders that it correlates to, and then rolling out for my weekend with nothing in it, coming back, seeing the new stuff, and then pulling those items back over. They go back in the shuffle right where they should have been. So you didn't lose the relevance of them, but just that mental clarity of like, I'm good, I'm out, I'm clocked out. Mentally, you can check out, and then the work's all there. And for the rest of the team, they actually dispense more things into the system than I do for my role. Mm-hmm. And I would just think that peace of mind, having it in the system and not lost, has to have that same kind of clarity of like, I'm done for the week, I've moved on.
Well, one of the struggles we uncovered during the assessment was everybody said communication. I think it's common across most agencies is communication. I'm like, bless us all, what does communication mean to you? Because it could mean 100 different things to 100 different people. But the most common one was, I don't know what they have in their email, or I don't know what happened to that client. So I can't help. So I just send it to their voicemail to let them help when they come back. Kind of mentality. And I think that there's been a shift in the team of trying to get things current or put the notes in to be able to work better as a team and not just be like me, mine. It's more
we've never had this much of a team atmosphere in all the years I've been here since we started your program. We are truly focused and work as a team.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of it too, and Andy, if you want to talk a little bit about defining roles and job descriptions, like I know that everybody had an idea of what they were supposed to do, but putting it down on paper, was that impactful?
Absolutely. I mean, we had descriptions, but we filed them when it collected dust. I think revisiting them almost annually is important to say what we all do as an agency. There's a lot of things we did from cleanup standpoint of delegation. But I think the biggest takeaway for me was the 2 promotions we made, which was Julie promoting her officially to personalized director and empowering her to make a lot of more decisions that were still being held back from her by myself, and just letting her run her department, actually see how it operates. And then Kayla, same way with commercial lines, promoting her and be able to look at stuff from a bigger picture. She realized a lot of things were happening with her team, and a lot of changes that come with that, and ongoing changes. Personal lines hired a virtual assistant that they didn't think they needed. And now Chad is an integral part of their team and does so much for them that they couldn't do without him. They didn't know that till Julie was able to see the big picture and say, I want a VA. Raise your hand. And I said, okay, do you want that? Tell me why. Yes, do it. Now that she's empowered to do those kind of decisions or bring those to my attention, she doesn't feel like, oh, I can't ask or can't do. There's a lot of things that they do
mindset.
that.
Yep.
Absolutely. They've done a few hires without me being involved with it. And it's been great because they get to choose who they want to be part of their team rather than me choosing for them. And these are shifts that we've done somewhat in the past, but really promoting those people is my biggest takeaway with the roles. And we have constant shift of personnel and skill sets, and somebody get licensed. So what do we do with them and get licensed? And we want to promote that to happen internally. Don't go up in responsibilities and stuff like that. So it has been a good shift. But the APP program had us, let's really focus on that and hold us accountable to make sure those things happen versus we'll get to it. We know we need to do it, get to it later. We just get it done now because we have to. So,
and I think part of it is just addressing the battle and picking one and then fighting it and then moving on to another one, right? And acknowledging that if it maybe wasn't the right battle, at least we got it done and now we can pick a different one.
It's a different set of eyes too. You're outside of the office, yet you've been here enough to where you understand a lot of our personalities, how we do operate, what we do, a corporate piece of business. There's a different set of eyes that's not in the daily, and so we run something by you, and it's like we get a fresh opinion, whether we agree or not. It gives us a viewpoint of why we might need something over here. I mean, it's stuff as simple as like our annual reviews that you simplify the process. What I had given the staff was very burdensome and very time intensive, and now what you've given is less intense and intimidating. But that was a different perspective on doing things. And, and it made sense in the end to go this route and do that. So just having a third party to have anything from responsibilities or staffing issues, that's always been a great addition to building on you. That's another resource.
Yes. Julie, I'm going to pick on you for just a moment. I hope you're okay. If not, just tell me now. And it'll be all right. So going back to the topic of the VA, the virtual assistant, or somebody from another place that remotes in and helps with workflows and things. I think that when we first started talking about, you were like, absolutely not. I think we had one for a little bit. It didn't work.
Yes, we had one before. He was with us for, I don't even know, maybe a month, but it was a disaster and it put a really bad taste in my mouth. And then the commercial lines had a couple and they were so happy with them. And that's why when it came up again, I thought, well, maybe we'll give it a try and hopefully we'll get a good one. I was actually involved in the hiring of the one we have now, where I wasn't in the first one. And I really connected with him and he is amazing. I don't know what we'd do without him. Yeah, he's great.
So from your perspective, your mind has now been changed, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I would do it, but I think that we had the experience with a couple others in the other department where we had a better handle on onboarding or expectations or what to kind of fail forward with.
Correct. Yes. And being involved with him from the start has really made a difference.
Good.
Yeah.
Y'all, I am the first one. I'm going to be like, please, let's hire 10 VAs. Like, I will take 100 VAs if I could.
Yes.
Because processes tend to get followed, consistency is key, and the work gets, it
gets done and they ask for more. He's asked for more. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of refreshing, right?
Right.
You're like, hey, I know that this was my job, but can I do more?
Exactly. Yes.
If you want, I got
it.
Yes. That's funny. So one of the things that I love is we do quarterly meetings with the team where we're either rolling out a program, developing through a program, or just working through things. But then you guys tend to do something fun afterwards. So the whole team gets together and there's training and then there's a group activity. and you guys come up with some of the most creative things out there. So would one of you want to talk a little bit about some of the things you've done and why you do that with the team?
So when we first started, we collaborated as our leadership team that include the department directors, myself, and Andy, and we just kind of threw out a bunch of ideas, and we had some contingency ideas. The ones that really came to fruition are the ones that resonated with some of us. So we picked a painting scenario, and that was something that I loved, and Julie loved, and Kayla loved. So we picked that one as our kind of first attempt at it, and we thought it went really well, and we all left with this painting, and we can look at it.
That's
Yep,
it.
Andy's pointing to it.
It's right
I
there.
have mine.
Behind
I have mine on my wall. And then the next one we did was flowers, which
Plants.
was something that Julie resonated with her, like planting. So we all went and got, went to a nursery, and we got to pick out flowers, and we went home with a summer, flower bowl, or spring, I should say, summer. A summer we did a scavenger hunt. We were a tourist in our own town, which honestly, that was something that Kayla just really bought into and wanted to do. And she really orchestrated the whole thing. And it was so much fun. I went to places I hadn't been in years or had never been. And that was really fun. And then the last one we did, which was around the Christmas holiday, we actually incorporated somewhat of our festiveness and Christmas party-ish feel to it. And we did this fun saran wrap ball that Kayla, again, just loves. And we had probably the best time doing that. Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward
Flowers
to
later.
what we can do on the next one. But I think definitely after a training day, decompressing with something that is just kind of different, but people can, I don't know, buy into.
Leaving the office and shutting it down made the staff feel special. It makes it feel different, and it really lets focus on the task at hand. I think that was a great idea to get out of that, and I think that we look forward to some degree sometimes just getting out of that office and coming together as a team, that we don't have the phone ringing or someone stand by the door, or coming, or any other distractions, email. So it's really nice to be outside the office as well.
And I think it shows the team that it's important, right? We're shutting down the office. We're closing down for a day. Like, to me, that says, this is important. We're investing in you. You're investing in us. Let's take the time to take it serious. But then we're all going to have some fun at the end, right?
Yeah.
That message is huge. So thank you for planning those. They're always an adventure. Any other thoughts for our listeners or people out there about your experiences, places you've succeeded, things you feel like you've won, or even struggles along the way?
My struggle has been the renewal call. But I'm happy to say that I've done a few this week. And yes. And I've luckily have gotten some really great clients that I've dealt with. And they've gone really, really well. So I haven't had a bad experience yet. But it was just, I have the time to make them. It's just forcing myself to stop what I'm doing, stop the email, and just focus on that task for an hour and getting them done. So it's been hard, but we're pushing through.
I would say I wish we did the program like 2 or 3 years ago, because the current state of the market with insurance, and we're in Washington, which is never near as bad as other states. It's other people credit for that. They have way worse environments than we do. It is insane the amount of time that we are spending on rewrites, remarkets, non-renewals that we've never had before. And so that's all been it's been good and bad that we started this program when we did, because we've taken a lot of things like time management, because every minute in this market right now counts. And so like that's been great. I just wish we'd done it sooner. I don't know why we didn't do it 2 years ago, or started 2 years earlier. Would have been more advantageous for us, all said and done. So the review calls and stuff would have been natural process built in, but and could have headed off some of this more reactive activities than proactive.
Yeah, we were doing the annual reviews, but not like the APP reviews that they've got us doing. They're just much easier. They just flow better, less time, less preparation, really no preparation compared to the others that we would do and have, work on it for an hour and have the client not show up or not call. So yeah, it's been good.
So yeah, we do need to remember it's not always sunshine and rainbows, like I like to say. But if we keep looking at the end result or pushing forward, we can still make great things happen. part of, I think, Andy, what you were saying is normally about this point around the 18-month mark, people are like, we should have done this before. Like during the first 6 months to year, getting used to everything and getting used to consistency with accountability with the team, training. I mean, it's a whole lot to take in for the team culture and everything. I think if I asked that question at month 3, y'all would have been like, no, but we're going to get through the next 3 months. And I think at this point now, it's like, okay, we're starting to see the results. We're starting to see it is a little easier in a difficult market. Like, it's not every day's a win, but we're pushing forward.
And having you encouraging us and pushing us is what we need. We could not do this without you.
But I think Melissa's also a great cheerleader because there's days
Melissa is
cheer me on.
Yeah.
And be like, hey guys.
Yes. And she's always smiling.
We're not fighting today. We're not boxing. Melissa's like, we can do it. And I'm like, I really can.
There's this voice in my head. There's this guy that came, APP. You might know him. His name is Steven. There's a voice in my head that says, you just have to outlast the suck.
Outlast the suck.
And some days, that is my mantra. And other days, it's like, we did outlast it. I think mostly we just have to get out of our way. We get in our own way. We want to push back. We want to like, oh, this is uncomfortable and I don't like the way it feels. So this is not working and it can't work. And here's 8,000 ways that it can't. And if we would just stop and not get in our way and just go down the path, we would have already been down the path.
Yeah.
Some days feel much like we just need to walk the path and quit worrying about all the reasons why the path is there.
Yes. Another thing to contemplate or shout out as well is, if I remember correctly, you're one of the last privately owned family run agencies in your whole area, right? So I would consider small town. I know it's not the smallest town, but it's also not a major metropolis, unless I'm just sheltered and living in, a big town. So
no, we're still small town.
We're small town.
We're still small town. You guys are still small town, but you are thinking ahead. You're trying to build that path for the future, making sure we're securing what we need to for the community as well. And I know you're also semi-involved in what's happening in the community, right?
Very involved. Yeah.
Making sure that things are happening and things are moving forward. People have insurance. We care about the customers, which is refreshing. Because some agencies are like, nope, here's the box. Let's fit them in it.
Sometimes I feel like we care too much. Sometimes it's just because,
there is a fine line, yes, but I would almost rather we cared too much than not enough. And I think that's
of course
one of the ways you guys are also winning in the area is keeping that feel, keeping the culture alive when so many other places have gone away.
We're also willing to change. We're also willing to question our ways of doing things. I mean, you guys are helping us with that process. It's constant question. Can we do it a better way? Is it a better experience for the client, better for our staff? Is it better for the community like you brought up? I mean, what is it? Does it serve and help everyone? And we're constantly questioning that because we have to adopt in this market. It's so different than it used to be 10 years ago. You can't tread water anymore. It's just, and that's in so many different industries too. It's not just the financial sector like insurance. It's a lot of industries where you can't sit stagnant anymore. You just be left behind. And so I think that we've adopted that piece of our culture. It's not in writing, but it's definitely is we're willing to accept change. We know it's a positive typically. If it's not possible, find a way to make it positive. So that's what we've had to do. Even if we're in a small community, we write coverage in 8 states. So we're not just on the peninsula. We write stuff all over Washington and Oregon and some in California and Arizona and all these other states too. We write, very, very large corporations to high net worth individuals to even just small accounts. And, it's great. We have a passion for it. It's fun to listen to our clients' stories. So, and what each person makes them unique. So.
Now, I am going to bring up one person that I met, and that's Charlotte.
I miss Charlotte.
I don't.
We have a Melissa now, though.
We have a Melissa now, yeah. Everybody's giggling because this team does try new things, right? They're not afraid to try it. If it's not working, they will also say this is a no, but it might work in the future. But there was a lovely lady that would answer the phone that was AI generated sort of. And I had the pleasure
She
of
told
talking to her
people
one
she
day.
was real. She didn't tell people she was
She didn't
AI.
tell people-
She told I'm a real person.
There was lots of issues with Charlotte, but she was so kind when I was stressed out running late to the agency, stuck at a drawbridge on the wrong side. And she's like, I'm like, hi, Charlotte. Oh, they hired somebody new. Can you transfer me to Andy? She's like, sure, hold on. And then I got somebody else. And I was like, why can't I get Andy? They're like, oh no, Charlotte does not let anybody talk to Andy. And then I get Melissa, and Melissa's like, you just have to say Melissa because they will let you talk to me. But it was a short-lived thing that I, to this day, makes me giggle and laugh because she was very sweet, but wasn't the right time for that technology at the agency.
No, but now you have the Melissa.
Stephen called the other day. He's like laughing because he knows it's my voice, and he's like, "Shut up!" Like you're goofing around. I'm like, "No, it was the recording."
It was.
He was talking to the recording.
I was like, Melissa, stop. And it was the recording. Yes, although she had to go, she might come back someday. We don't know.
Maybe.
Not
Be Charlotte. Might be someone else.
Yeah. Might be Sandy. Whatever. We'll find another name.
We'll see.
So, guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me, talking about your agency and your experience. Do you have any last thoughts or things you want to share before we're done?
No, I just think it's going great. Yep.
Good.
I said before, we should have done a couple years ago. So if you're on the fence, do it now. Time like the future or right now. I mean,
Yeah. I piggyback what Andy said. That's exactly. If you ever contemplated having a coaching for performance, their APP's it. So yeah, don't wait.
Yes.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. Do it now. Operators are standing by. Just kidding. I didn't hire Charlotte.
No, you didn't. I did.
No, I'm saying no. Like I was saying, operators were standing by. And I was like, no, just kidding. Like when you were done with her, I didn't hire her. Sorry. So you get
I heard the problem and
my Google.
We'll start to deal with it.
Preach the call for the event. So, guys, thank you again. I appreciate spending time with you, and I look forward to seeing you again here in just a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye bye.